Hello and welcome to ChapterSkip. I'm Joe.
And I'm Sean.
And I'm Mark. And we're bringing you movie reviews with a twist.
And today we're taking a look at G.I. Joe, Retaliation.
G.I. Joe is a line of action figures from Hasbro that represent the various branches of the US Armed Forces. And as I live here in the UK, I had pretty much no contact with the product prior to the films being released.
If I'm brutally honest, I have no idea what GI stands for and why they're called Joes.
Why are you called Joe?
Greetings, informal Joe.
Hello?
Go inside, Joe, and gather information, Joe.
What about?
Gimpy inbreds, green iguanas, and gorgeous Inuits. Joe.
How am I going to do that?
Google it, Joe.
Good idea, Joe.
This time around, the movie is directed by John M. Chu, who has directed two of the Step Up movies and a documentary on Justin Bieber.
Just hearing you say that makes me want to vomit in disgust.
The movie has a similar cast to the first film, with the characters of the US President, Snake Eyes, Duke and Storm Shadow returning to the film.
Also with the new addition of Bruce Willis and The Rock Dwayne Johnson as Roadblock.
Although Roadblock did seem like an amalgamation of the missing characters of Heavy Duty and Ripcord.
Now the film opens up with a quick recap of the first film,
which is now being referred to as the Nanamite Wars. And it then explains the whereabouts of Destro and the Cobra Commander, which is a bit odd because they're still in prison exactly where we left them.
And it doesn't even explain why nearly all of the Joes from the first film are absent.
He's a man bugger. Easy, boy.
Anyhow, with an imposter in place of the president, the Joes are set up and branded as traitors, leaving them no choice but to prove their innocence and take down Cobra. Again.
Although, I'm not sure how they knew that they were branded as traitors when they're all stuck down a well after a firefight and then instantly decided that the president is responsible for their current predicament. But they do so and off they set to prove their innocence. But if you are wanted by your own government and by the terrorist organisation that set you up, then how on earth do you walk down the road in broad daylight, go to your old neighbourhood, contact a retired army general, and then also manage to sneak into a party and speak directly to the president without anybody immediately recognising you? So silly.
Speaking of army generals, we get introduced to Bruce Willis's character as General Colton.
But his opening line of, "I'll take 2 cases of Thin Mints and a box of Chocolates," made me think, has he got Alzheimer's?
He's also introduced as the reason we're called Joes, except it doesn't explain it. And I still don't know what GI stands for! Give me a break!
What do you reckon that is then?
I'm not sure. I've never seen anything like it.
It's pretty unique, I'll tell you that.
Certainly not seen one that size and colour.
No, I quite like the way it's sort of angled and it's based at the bottom. It's almost, it's like a rocket and then the spurts coming out. I don't know, what do you reckon it means?
I think they're tears. I think they represent the inner turmoil that the artist was going through at the time of this.
Well, I think if it's a stance on war, it could be, you know, it's the imminence of World War III because it's 3 dots. To be honest with you, I just can't work it out.
I'm not sure.
Hi guys.
Hi, Joe. What do you reckon that is then?
That, my friend, is a cock.
Oh, yeah. I see it now,
As I'm not really a fan of the G.I. Joe franchise, I was going into the film with low expectations, but I really enjoyed it. Yes, it has its over-the-top action scenes, unbelievable plots and bromances, but I did take it for what it was at the end of the day, an action film. Standout scenes for me is when Jinx and Snake Eyes are kidnapping Storm Shadow and fighting across the mountains on the zip wire, and Bruce Willis's stupid gun locations.
Having not seen the first movie and not really knowing much about this film, I was coming into it with a fresh pair of eyes, but after watching it, I was pretty much where I started. I had no real inclination of what happened in the first film, other than the very brief recap we mentioned earlier. Upon finishing it, I felt very much like I did after we watched The Expendables 2. Lots of cool guns, action, swords, explosions, and characters you didn't really care about. Although in this movie, they managed to stay away from stupid jokes and one-liners. Oh wait, Bruce Willis. Now, I didn't really see the point in this movie being released anywhere other than America. It's pretty much a movie that states, "America is awesome!" and everywhere else is pussies and terrorists. Now I know why North Korea's Kim Jong-un has got his panties in a twist and threatening nuclear war. He watched this bloody movie! I mean, god damn it, America! I thought you liked us and disliked the French. Why the hell would you blow up London and not Paris? Come on, guys! At least Pakistan had the right idea. They were made out to be an inept, unstable terrorist country, so they banned it in cinemas. Why didn't we do this? Don't bother going to watch this film, people. At least I laughed at The Expendables 2. This movie caused me nothing but shame to be English.
Well, the Eiffel Tower did fall down in the first film, but you're right. There is a lot of macho American posturing going on here. Look, the movie's terrible. If it was a good film, perhaps I could have put up with that. But it isn't. The plot had no thought put into it, and the bad guys barely make an appearance. I'm pretty sure the Cobra Commander has about 5 minutes of screen time. The only character that has any real depth to them was Storm Shadow, who was once more played by the awesome Byung-Hun Lee. Another problem I have with the movie, other than the fact that it's not very good, is that it was throwing in all these new characters with no explanation as to who they were, or why I should really care about them. Who was the Azie's character who was there with Snake Eyes and Jinx? Actually, who the hell is Jinx? And who was the white-haired old lady that turned up randomly? An hour in, and I'd had enough. And what's even worse, that my boredom threshold was reached during an action sequence. There's a ninja chase in the film, which Joe referred to earlier, where they're chasing after Snake Eyes and Jinx, and they're possibly the most incompetent ninjas ever depicted. Unless there's supposed to be some kind of ninja suicide squad, as they spend most of the time falling from cliffs, crashing into rocky outcrops. Still, it's nice to know that when all the world leaders go to what is essentially a peace summit, they take a little device with them which will launch all their countries' nuclear weapons. And don't get me started on the speech at the end, where the Joes are hailed as heroes, which is odd when an entire city has just been blasted off the face of the world. Well done, guys.
Okay, Joe, are you nice and relaxed?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. What we're going to do here is show you a series of shapes, and you just need to tell me what they are, okay?
Okay.
Right. What's this?
A circle.
This next one.
A square.
Lovely. And finally this one, please.
A triangle.
Excellent. That concludes the end of the test. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you for watching our review for G.I. Joe Retaliation, and as it turns out we're still none the wiser of what GI stands for. Maybe you guys can help us out and tell us what you think it stands for in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to ChapterSkip. You can also follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. All the links that you need are in the video description. Thanks.
Anyhow, with an with some pasta in place of the president, no one notices macaroni shenanigans. Anyhow, with an imposter in place of the president, and Sean laughing. Pasta. I had it right then. Every time. Anyhow, with an imposter in place of the president, the Joes are set up. Oh, come on.
I was trying not to crack up a little. That's some good pasta like my mama made.
I need to get this out of me. I got the giggles.
I gotta kill the president.
Never work with animals, children, or ChapterSkip.